Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And one time I saw a blimp. But for the last week I've been carrying the Albatross FK055. And you guys picked this out for me to carry. So on the last live stream, you guys picked between this and the HX Outdoors, and y'all wanted to see this one. So that brings us to this point in space and time together. You and me. But let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got black G10 with the honeycomb pattern on it. We got a flipper tab, so let's flick the bean. And we have got a 3-inch blade in D2, and it's on bearings. And this is on Amazon for $39.50. So, if you haven't seen this by now for some odd reason, I'll fill you in on what happened. And I like the Albatross brand. I had a couple of Albatross knives that I like, so I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, you guys want to work with me? And they said sure, and they asked what I was interested in. I specifically mentioned this one, so they sent this along with a stack of burner knives for me to check out and show you guys. And we got to this thing finally. And those burner knives, one of them was decent. It was okay for $10. I don't have any hard feelings towards it necessarily. And the other one sucked, but this is the Albatross I wanted to show you guys. This is Albatross doing what Albatross does. I really like this thing. So I had it on me for the week, and in the pocket, I will say one thing. It was a little bit on the bulky feeling side. It was a little bit difficult to fish keys out from around it, stuff like that. But, I mean, not much more so than a lot of other knives. It's not really a huge deal, but that's what happened with it. It was hard to get stuff out of the pocket around it sometimes, which, again, it's not that uncommon, but it's worth noting. So I carried this and I worked with it. I enjoyed working with it. It is nice and slicey. Like you can see, there's some tape stuck to it and stuff like that, where I have definitely put some work on it. Breaking down cardboard, it zipped through it. It's very, very slicey, especially for something with a blade steel that is on the slightly thicker side. It's not super thick, but it feels a little bit thicker than a lot of other blades I've handled. But not a big deal. It sliced really well. We got a flat grind here. Like, just going off feel, it almost feels ever so slightly convex, but I'm pretty sure it is a flat right here, up to a, flat grind, up to a flat, and then a swedge on the back. So the blade profile is pretty good. It's not quite a full flat like I like to see, but it does look good. I will say this thing does look good. Let's see if we can get some good light on this thing. Yeah, you can see how the facets on the blade play around with each other. And again, I'll point out the plunge grind right here is very, very cool. And again, a plunge grind is not something you notice too often, but I don't see them shaped like this all that often. It really ties everything together very nicely. And of course, you got your sharpening choil right here, so you're not going to run into your plunge grind while you're sharpening it. Like, it's very well thought out. The only real gripe that I have is the pocket clip, which did its job quite nicely. It did its job nicely with the dingus end right here raised up as far as it is. It got into the pocket and back out quite easily. Very comfortable, painless process, but it does feel a little bit on the weak side. Now, the retention was still just fine. However, if this thing got hung up on something, it wouldn't take too much to bend it all the way out of shape, and then you got to take it off and get some pliers and squish it back together and put it back on. That, at $39.50, that is not a gigantic complaint, but it's a little bit of a complaint. They could have done better with that. But, overall, I really like this thing. Let's take a look at the edge. I'm going to get some copy paper out. That is the end-all, be-all of sharpness tests, as we all know. But y'all have seen, cutting paper has not been my friend for the last couple weeks here, so I think I'm about to hurt my own feelings. Got the paper. Okay, we can do this. We can do this together. Let's flick the bean. Ah ha ha ha. Yeah, like, cutting paper has just not been my friend. There, that's what I was looking for. I don't know why I've been having such a hard time with that, but that's the cut that I'm looking for. Like, there. So the factory edge is definitely respectable. Like, that is a very, very good solid working edge. Let's get the tester out, and of course I'll load up a clip that I didn't preload before I started recording, because I never think about that until it's too late. But, I mean, it's again, like, this is the Albatross that I really wanted to show you guys. Hopefully they see this and, take some of this stuff to heart, because really it's just a better pocket clip's about all this thing needs. A better pocket clip's about all it needs. It looks great, it cuts great, it carried definitely well enough. Well enough that I have no complaints. I would have loved for the scales to have been just a hair thinner, but, I mean, even that is not the world's biggest deal. But, yeah, I mean, it did really, really good. So, let's see what we got here on the tester. 192. So, I mean, 192 is a really good edge. That is a really, really good edge from the factory. You know, it's not the best factory edge we've ever had, but that's still really, really good. Really good factory edge. So, I mean, like I said, this thing is well thought out. It's designed well. Everything on it works. Like you can even see here, the steel for the liner. That's a reasonably thick piece of steel, thicker than most liners. Everything is contoured nicely. It's easy to access. The liner locks and unlocks really well. The blade is centered pretty well. I think I see just the slightest trace of let me see if I can get you some better light. I think I see the slightest trace of drift over to this side, and I mean just the slightest. Nothing that you like. I had to really intentionally look for it to see anything, and even that might just be my eyes playing tricks on me. So I mean, this thing is done really well, and it is on bearings, so you know it does drop shut. I do like the fact that it takes a little bit of shaking to get it to drop shut. A lot of times I like a looser action, but this does feel pretty good. I will say, and every time I try to do this for you guys, I just completely blow the take and I got to redo it after the fact. But let's try this. So you can see there's a lot of brass from my keys deposited on the surface here. I absolutely hate that it does that. It's like, you know, I'm at the point now where I carry so damn many knives that I'm not that worried about, you know, a $40 knife getting beat up or anything. Like, I was even talking to the guys at work today, and one of my coworkers dropped a paring knife off of the shelf, and like another guy's like, "Did you drop your knife?" I'm like, "No," but I take it in my pocket. I'm like, "I'm not scared to drop this one," and just threw it on the floor. So I mean, that's where I'm at with these knives now. And I mean, granted, it took it. It hit the floor. It did open about this far while it was bouncing around, but not a big deal. But I got some acetone here. I got the jar of Forbidden Moonshine. So let's take some acetone. Let's clean this brass off. Yeah. That lid did not want to go. So we got a little bit of acetone on here. And you can get in here. And acetone does a great job at cleaning stuff like this out of your G10. The G10 will look just a hair faded for a little while until all the acetone finishes evaporating. But, you know, all the key gunk is gone. You know, if you got tape residue on your blade, you can also clean it off with the acetone. It might leave a couple of streaks you got to wipe off, but, you know, this is probably the best thing I've seen for getting rid of just stuff built up on knives. Like, see, all the brass is gone, and the G10 will go back to this from this in an hour or two. It's just got to get all the acetone evaporated out. At least it has on every other knife I've done that the G10 kind of discolored from the acetone with. The color will come back. It's just going to take an hour or two. Not a big deal. But, you know, all the key gunk's gone. Like, I've tried doing that with baby wipes. I've tried doing it with soap. I've tried doing it with rubbing alcohol. It's the acetone that really does the trick. So if you have something like that and you just want to clean it back up and keep it looking nice, you know, do a little bit of maintenance on it, that's how you go about it. Acetone will strip pretty much anything off. And like, you know, if you're cleaning out bearings and stuff like that, like, you know, you'll have to oil it afterwards. But yeah, really handy little tip. So, you know, overall, I do feel like this is a good stellar value at $40. And of course, the blade's D2, and we have Cardboard Slayer coming up. This is going to be our next Cardboard Slayer in 2 days from the time of recording this. It's Thursday night right now. We're doing that on Saturday. So drop by and check this thing out. See how it does, because, you know, it felt really good cutting cardboard with it at work. It felt nice and slicey, like it should be a good live stream. The only thing that I think is going to bite us in the nuts is going to be ergonomic issues, and I don't feel like there's going to be anything major there. The liners, I got a nice chamfer on them right here. I'd love it if the back of the blade came back a hair farther so it was level a little farther back. That would be nice, even though it might interrupt this a little bit, but you know, I don't see any major issues that are going to come out of that. And of course, it's D2, so I'm expecting the D2 to take around 4 hours to wear out, to really wear that edge out. But we're not going to know for sure until we do the live stream. So, overall, yes, worth $40. If you like the way this thing looks, and it is a fairly unique look, I'd say go for it. Like I said, and this is definitely, like, it functions as a knife very well. It's well thought out, all that. You can buy a ton of well thought out knives for $40. It's not that hard to do. It is a hell of a time to be a knife guy. Oh my God. But if you like the way this thing looks, and this right here, the honeycomb really grabs you by the short and curlies, go for it. There's also one in blue, but I had to get the yellow. However, I will link off to this in the description. So if you want to get one, you can just shoot over there and grab one. Not an affiliate link. And again, Albatross did send this to me to check out. But if you guys saw it, like if I don't like it, I will tell you I don't like it. I really like this. Like I said, the only thing I change is maybe the scale material a bit thinner and change this pocket clip out for something a bit stiffer. But yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. So I can't think of anything else to add without holding y'all hostage. So all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have giveaways coming up in the very near future. We got our live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.